again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting year of Daily December. This is Daily December 2018, Day 1, and I'm starting off on a really good foot by being behind on the first day because this is December 2nd. Yeah, uh, there may be quite a few of you guys that have no idea what this is. I've had more growth this year than I think I've ever had on my YouTube channel. So what Daily December is every year since I first started this channel, like five years ago now, something like that. For the month of December, I make a video every day, and a lot of them are just me talking to a camera. Some of them are more specialized. A lot of times, the days that I stream, I may use that to substitute for a Daily December vid. Yeah. The reason I do this is the first year I did it, I learned so much about just the kind of content I like to create and the things that my audience really liked. My first streaming stuff came as a direct result of Daily December, and now I'm a Twitch affiliate. So every year I found out I find out something new, and I learned something new, and so we'll see what happens. This year is probably going to be a little bit different for a number of reasons. Probably the biggest of which is if you have been watching my content over the past month or so, you may have noticed that I really don't look all that great. I seem to be getting worse. My stutter is much worse. That's because for about 2 years now, I've been on a medication called diazepam, also known as Valium, and I was put on it because a dipshit of a psychiatrist at the psychiatric hospital I was committed to put me on medication that I shouldn't have been on, and almost killed me. Would have killed me if I had actually continued taking the med. I had a very rare interaction with an antidepressant. The reaction was called serotonin syndrome. It is deadly if it's not caught. I had a relatively extreme version of it, and like I said, had I increased the dosage like the psychiatrist had said, instead of stopping the dosage, I would have died. Luckily, my doctor recognized the symptoms, got me off the meds, and he put me on Valium, because Valium is a sedative. It's part of a drug family called benzodiazepines. Benzodiazepines, or just benzos, and yeah, it's a sedative, and so I was having really severe convulsions. If you watch my daily December from that year, you'll see, and I talk about it. That was two years ago. Well, after the serotonin syndrome was over, I was seeing another psychiatrist whom I actually like, and she tried me on a bunch of different medications. We discovered I can't take the vast majority of anti-anxiety meds and antidepressants because they all mess with serotonin levels, and anything that messes with serotonin levels will kill me. So the only thing left was to treat my anxiety with sedatives, which Valium is. Now, benzos are a class, I want to say, 4 controlled substance. They're what are called habit forming, which means they're not as addictive as like codeine or narcotics, but you can build what's called a chemical dependency, which is the medical term for addiction, or rather, it's part of addiction. Addiction also includes compulsion. So you can get addicted to it, but it's harder to get addicted to, unlike narcotics, where they're super easy to get addicted to. So my psychiatrist kept me on Valium because it was literally the only drug that wouldn't kill me. Now, Valium is a great med, and it helps a lot of people, but it is a short-term drug. You're not supposed to take it for longer than, generally you only take it for a month or two, 6 months maximum. Anything longer than that, and they have studies from back in the 90s that show that long-term use of benzos has really bad side effects, including brain damage. So I've been on them for almost 2 years because literally nothing else will help. And my anxiety disorders are severe enough that I guess the risk of brain damage, to my psychiatrist, she felt the risk of brain damage was less than the risk of leaving me unmedicated. Well, now it's gotten to the point, after using Valium for 6 months, it does things like it lowers anxiety, it sedates you, it can help with depression as well. Once you hit 6 months, though, it actually makes all the things it helps worse. So instead of decreasing my anxiety, it increased it. And the other thing is I built up a tolerance to it, which meant that I could take the same amount of it, but I wouldn't get the same effect. So for a while, they just kept increasing my dose until I was taking something like 20 milligrams a day, which for Valium is a really big dose. And it wasn't helping. I was getting worse. So last year, January, we tried to taper me off, and got me down to about 3 milligrams a day, and I started having seizures, which is a side effect of benzo withdrawal. Now, we later found out that the seizures weren't from withdrawal, and they were caused by a condition called conversion disorder. But they increased my dosage anyway to be on the safe side. Well, now I'm finally off. The last time I had a dose was last Monday. So I'm going through full-blown benzo withdrawal, which, unlike a lot of other withdrawal, like you can go through withdrawal for anything you develop a dependency on, alcohol, narcotics, hard drugs. Withdrawal is relatively similar. Benzo withdrawal is a little unique. Normally, withdrawal symptoms last for about 3-ish days, and you'll have side effects from it for maybe a week or two, maybe. And that's once the drugs are out of your system, it's 3 days of hell, and then you're clean. Benzo withdrawal doesn't work that way. The first thing that happened to me was, as soon as I started lowering my dosage, the meds weren't even out of my system at this point, because Valium is a very slow release med, and it stays in your system for about 150 hours is how long it takes to get it out of your system completely. So my doc tapered me down to reduce the impact of the withdrawal, but benzo withdrawal, you have psychological symptoms before you start having actual chemical withdrawal symptoms. And for me, that meant my anxiety went into overdrive. And because I have panic disorder, which means I get panic attacks, and not like a lot of people get panic attacks. It's relatively common. Panic disorder means I don't just get panic attacks. I get them all the time, and they don't have to be triggered by something. Something like 50% of panic attacks that people with panic disorder have no trigger. You just have a panic attack. And that also means that if you are triggered by a high anxiety situation, you are more likely to have a panic attack. So my anxiety shot through the roof a month and a half ago. And it's been horrible as I had less and less of the med in my system. I developed more physical symptoms. I would get migraines every day. I would get nausea, other stomach stuff that I'm not going to go into. Suffice it to say, it was unpleasant for everyone. And other things like sweats and chills and fevers and all that stuff. Well, now, since it's almost day 6, I'm almost completely free, and I'm going into the worst of the withdrawal, and it is not fun at all. Yeah. So, and so I mentioned benzo withdrawal is different. So this isn't going to last 3 days. Benzo withdrawal symptoms can last weeks, months, sometimes years. And because not only have I've been on it about a year and a half longer than the maximum recommended time, I also have had two other occasions where I've tried to take myself off of the drug and failed. So yeah, every time you go through withdrawal, it's worse than the last time because you beat up your body every time you go through withdrawal. It's not something I recommend anyone go through. So yeah, this is this is not going to be fun. And I don't know how that's going to affect Daily December. I also don't know how that's going to affect you guys. Again, a lot of you guys are here because of a lot of things not related to me personally. I know D&D content has become a big part of my channel, and there are a lot of people that are very interested in that. I will probably do some D&D related stuff for Daily December. I recently I've had a influx of people viewing my Soul Calibur 6 characters, my critical role characters. I will probably do a few videos of that, and maybe some other games where I create critical role characters. Like I have, I think all of Vox Machina in Dark Souls 2, stuff like that. So I may do some of that, but some of it is just going to be that, you know, this stuff, me talking about this horrible experience, and yeah, so you'll get more content. I can't tell you what it's going to be. I can't even guarantee I will talk in all of it. The stutter is so bad and so difficult to deal with that it's easier if I just don't talk a lot. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I've not missed a daily December since I started this channel, and despite what's going on and how horrible it is, I don't want to let this win. So I'm going to do my best to make Daily December and just see what we learned this year. Okay? So thank you to everyone that's watching. If you do have things that you want to hear me talk about or anything, to be honest, it would be really useful to me to have topics and things like that, because thinking straight is really hard, because of the Valium has destroyed my memories, destroyed my concentration, and then anxiety and depression also do that. Yeah, coming up with all the topics myself will be difficult. So please, if you have ideas or anything, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, yeah, that's all for me right now. I'll see if I can get another quick video out today, so I have some caught up. But yeah, welcome to the day of December, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye bye.